All right, good evening, everybody. We have severe weather, obviously, to talk about, not just tonight, but especially tomorrow morning. But I've been mentioning as we've been going through this week that we could even see a couple of storms get a little bit rambunctious tonight. And that's what we're seeing out there now. Now, this is a severe thunderstorm warning. Let me take you over to it right here. So this is not a tornado warning, but I've been watching this storm for a while. You can see that hook on there yourself. And so this has been one that's been concerning me for a little while. This is Houston County, by the way, in Twiggs County. It goes until 8:30. Storm is moving toward the northeast at 40 miles per hour. 60 mile per hour winds are possible in this storm. All right, so let's get on into it. And you can see the hook shape there. It has never tightened up enough for a tornado warning. But as we look at velocity here, again, when you see red and green next to each other, you get the idea that wind is kind of shifting right there, going toward the radar and away from the radar in this area here. Again, at times it's been tighter than others. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to zoom us out just a little bit and walk it backwards. All right, so this is going back in time, and notice it's always kind of had a little bit of that turn to it, especially here when it was back in Dooley County. And I'd been talking to National Weather Service out of Peachtree City in the chat room. They were keeping a close eye on it as well. So it was just something that we were watching. No need to fire off a tornado warning, but it has gotten to the point where at least the winds are 60 miles per hour. So a severe thunderstorm warning is issued. So let's treat it as though the potential for some rotation there. This is now south and east of Perry and underneath Kathleen and moving more and more toward Bleckley County here. So this would be, or Twiggs County, I should say, and Bleckley. Probably going to go actually more Twiggs and above Bleckley as it goes northeast at 40. So we'll time it out here. We'll go back to the base velocity here. And you see what I'm talking about. See the hook on there. So there's been some either broad rotation at times, but it just never has fully wrapped up. But something we're keeping an eye on there. So we'll do a storm track on this. Take it from the center and go out north and east at 40. And you can see some small communities right there. Cary on the outside edge at around 8:36. This warning goes until 8:30. Eventually Jeffersonville, probably heading near the radar site there. Inch in diameter hail also has been noted with this. Let's see if we can find any on there now. Yeah, there's a little pocket of it right there. So as we zoom in, Clinchfield area right there. Let me see if I can find you some roads. Let's go back to reflectivity. Well, not reflectivity. We'll go to velocity here and zoom in. I know this looks like just a bunch of color right here. What we're just trying to do is find some roads. And all right. So we can go in a little farther. For some reason, they're not showing up right here. That's not good. There's one, Wimberley Road right there. Some of these others not showing up. All right, so it's above those that you see. Wimberley Road is one of the main ones I see showing up. I'm not sure why we're not getting a road on these other ones. A.E. Harris Road, heading toward Kovac Road. Again, this is not a confirmed tornado or even a tornado warning. It's a severe thunderstorm warning, but it has been rotating at times. And with the environment that we have out there tonight, something that we're keeping a close eye on with each and every one of these storms. There's it going to base velocity. You can see it a little bit better right there. So again, this is in Houston County now. It's already made its way well over 75. It's toward the east of Perry. Let's see, we'll dig around. Nope, not seeing anything with the debris ball there, so let me take you while we're looking here at the big picture just to show you where the big risk for tonight is. High risk, this is a level 5, 4, and it goes 3, 2, and then 1. So we're on the outside fringe of what all's been going on in Mississippi and Alabama. The final line is what's back way off toward the west. So Alabama's been having them all day, and then there's more storms still about to come through, and that's what will come through here tomorrow morning. So there's the one warning that we have. It's a severe thunderstorm warning, and really the models were showing that we may see one or two little popcorn storms. I don't mean little, but as far as like not a lot of coverage out there, and that's what turns out we're seeing. But even it just shows you the environment that just the one has us looking at that. So again, this is moving northeast at 40. The winds are around 60 miles per hour. It goes until 8:30 for Houston and Twiggs. And let me see if I can get over to, because we were doing a new thing here tonight, where we're not just on Facebook or streaming on our website and on our app. We're also trying YouTube out as well. We're trying to just reach everywhere we can as a service to you to get in as many places as we can. So we're hoping that you're able to use it on all these platforms. Let's see if I can get us into Facebook here, maybe answer a couple of questions. And all right, I'm having a little bit of an issue getting into that, but I'll try to get there. Let's see what we have over here. Chat room's going nuts here. Let's see, a ham radio operator, amateur radio spotter at Highway 96 and 247 in Houston County reports wall cloud approaching that location. So that's at 96 and 247. Was able to, let's go to the Skycam and see if I can find, probably not going to be able to see much of anything now. Nope. Gotten all dark now, but earlier we were seeing some lightning flashing out there. This is a Perry Skycam, which doesn't show us a whole lot from here. So let's go back to the radar. Once again, our main threat is tomorrow morning with that big line that's going to come through. But this just shows that the atmosphere is getting primed even for just one or two storms that fire up to get going like this. Let's go back and look at velocity again and see. And again, it's just kind of like a dimple there. It's just enough. You keep an eye on it. But it never has tightened up enough to go tornado warning with it. But if you're in, getting into eastern Houston County, heading toward kind of going to be the Twiggs-Bleckley line. That's where we're seeing this. Really interesting why some of these roads are not showing up. Not exactly sure what's going on with that. There should be names everywhere here. I only see Kovac Road. You know there are more streets than that because we can see them. Thompson Mill Road. Again, not a tornado warning, but just kind of treating it as though it is. You can see the kind of pendant shape there. This is what I talk about. They kind of look squirrely looking. To me, it looks like a squirrel's tail. So right in here, there may be a little bit of a spin. And yeah, there could be a wall cloud out there. I'm not exactly sure how that's seen. It's pretty dark out there. But Twiggs County, you're at least going to have heavy rain and gusty winds coming that way in just a little bit. All right, looking at a couple other things here. Again, it's the one severe thunderstorm warning until 8:30 for Houston and Twiggs counties, moving northeast at 40. The stuff that's over in Taylor County, that's just rain. So, I mean, it's just, there's really nothing else going on. It's just kind of a Lone Ranger storm out ahead of all the other stuff. And fortunately, it's just severe, no tornado warning with it. All right, well, as we perusing other sources here, looking for stuff here, let me show you how things may play out as we head into tomorrow morning. First, let's take a look again at the big map. And then when you take away the threat map as far as the risk categories, which by the way is level 5 out in Alabama and Mississippi, first time in 4 years that's been issued for southeastern states, so kind of a remarkable day when you look at it from that standpoint. We've had a lot of level 3s and 4s, but the level 5 is something pretty rare. That's as high as it goes. And fortunately, not a ton of, I mean, there have been some tornado damage in Alabama, but not a ton of warnings right now. Only a couple. There's one right outside of Montgomery here, and then these are severe thunderstorm warnings. If it keeps going like this is lining up to be a wind damage kind of event. which can still do damage, obviously, but more of a linear situation, and that's kind of what we're going to see tomorrow morning. But we have to keep an eye on some of these cells as we head into tomorrow morning to see if a couple of them are rotating a little bit here. All right, so let me get you on over to the high-res model. Let's go forward. This takes us in. You can see all the stuff back in Alabama. This does not initialize, meaning it does not start with where we are now. It doesn't pick up the storm that we have now. So there's still a potential we could see a stray shower storm there. There's around 11 o'clock midnight. Most stuff is probably going to be outside of reach just to our north and west and maybe going over us in North Georgia, Atlanta area. And then you can see these kind of kidney bean shaped storms, these cells squirrely looking again, at least some very gusty winds, but some of them could be rotating. But look at the clock here. This is around 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. We may see some light rain as we head toward 5, 6 a.m., but I think as far as our viewing area is concerned, it's probably going to be more around 7 a.m., 6 to 7, and then knocking on the door of the Macon Warner Robins area as we head toward 8. And the timing has been pretty consistent on these model runs. And then from there, passing Macon Warner Robins as we head toward the 9 o'clock hour, and now you're looking anywhere from Sandersville on down into Cochrane and Hawkinsville, and then as we head toward 10 to 11, maybe Wrightsville to Dublin, past Eastman maybe already, and then it's McRae and Soberton as we head toward mid-morning into noon. And then it should get on out of here. May even be totally clear by area by the time we get into lunchtime. I've been talking about this on the air as well. This is it's a complicated looking map, but it's really not. Let me just explain. The white arrows on the bottom, those are your surface winds. And then you can see your upper level winds here, higher in the atmosphere. So obviously if you see them going one way and then you see them higher up going this way, that's going to create a spin. And so that's what we're seeing in some of these spots. And so as we head through the overnight into tomorrow morning, we have to keep an eye out in those spots as the line is coming across. All this shaded area that you see is just showing where the energy for severe storms, and that's really not that high. It's what we would refer to as CAPE. So this would be a low CAPE, high shear event. So it's more of a wind shear driven severe weather event as opposed to more explosive as far as the energy is concerned. All right, so there as we head toward mid-morning to lunchtime, you can see everything is kind of pushing away. Now let's get into how it looks on this tornado potential graphic. This is that same high-res model. And as we go through tonight, you can see, let me back it up there. You can see, which is what we're dealing with now, a little slither of it right there. And we'll see how it goes as we go on into later on tonight. But obviously most of it, you can see on the scale heading on up here, low end, high end. In Alabama. As we go forward into the morning hours, that shifts over here. Again, it's not super high, but there's enough in there that we're going to have to watch every one of these cells as it comes across. At least, I think we'll at least have probably some severe thunderstorm warnings, but could easily have a couple of tornado warnings embedded within that line. And you can see, again, we're kind of getting up there on the scale. This is around 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, heading toward 9 to 10 in our eastern counties. 10 to noon, and then clearing out. The threat will be over at that point. And then you can see the dew points, moisture in the atmosphere, and you can see the winds immediately shift after this front moves through Thursday during the day and drier air comes back in. So back to the radar. That severe thunderstorm warning again goes until 8:30. Moving northeast at 40, potential for 60-mile-per-hour winds, and inch in diameter hail. And again, it still has that kind of little hook on it as it goes across. We'll check in on velocity. Don't really see anything screaming, hey, I'm a tornado. There have been times, again, where it has had a little bit of that look. It doesn't have it right now. So we're mainly dealing with gusty winds with this and some hail. Let's see if we can find that. Yeah, showing up a little bit there, not a ton. This is more like quarter-inch hail right here. But at the time the warning was issued, a little bit bigger. Let's back it up. Yeah, you can see right in here, we were looking at probably getting close to an inch in diameter there, 3/4 to an inch. All right, just combing through some stuff here. Of course, if we were to go to a tornado warning, we would take this to TV, but this is a little more relaxed. Here is we're on, again, Facebook. We're live streaming on our website and our app and on YouTube. Severe thunderstorm warning continues, says the chat, for Houston and Twiggs until 8:30. Still inch in diameter hail possible at times, and wind that could be around 60 miles per hour. As we talked about in the newscast earlier, if you see it, send it. If you have a, pictures or video of any damage, obviously once the storm passes, and if they're, wow, look at that, that popped up in a hurry. You can text the damage photos, 752-1309. If it's safe, that's the important thing. Power lines being down, you don't want to get anywhere near that. You don't know if they're hot, and a lot of people get really hurt with stuff after a storm comes through. I think you can also do the Near Me app, or the Near Me function. Am I saying that right? Yes, Near Me. You can go that route too, if you want to post some pictures there. Again, not when the storm's coming through, and make sure it's safe. Again, velocity-wise, we're looking good. Don't see anything crazy. If I were to back it up and kind of watch down in this area and look for that couplet there when I go backwards. And you can see it when it was running along the Dooley-Macon County line, and then it's just kind of wavered off and on and never really fully tightened up. There's always been kind of at least a little dimple there where you could see, all right. All right, we'll go back to velocity. Some lightning with this, not a ton. All right, let's see if I can. Going over to another source here. While you take a look at the map, there's not a whole lot of new information coming in. But again, the main threat is tomorrow morning. But clearly we have the potential for severe weather tonight. But really around 7 a.m. tomorrow morning for our eastern counties, and then spreading toward the west as we go through the day. And probably, leaving our southeastern counties by around lunchtime tomorrow, maybe earlier. We'll see if it gets out of here in time. All right, just checking a few things here. That warning does continue until 8:30 for about another 5 minutes. Trying to get over to Facebook to see if I can. Okay. All right, I think I finally landed on it. Let's see. Try to answer some of your questions. Okay, that is. A lot of people asking about schools. Yeah, I don't have the info on the schools, but you can look around in our app and our website and you can find all of that. We're updating that as soon as it comes in. Some we've seen that are going, seen some out, some virtual, some delayed. Selena says, Lawrence County schools, are they out tomorrow? I don't know about that. I did see a tweet that I was tagged in earlier from Dublin City Schools 3 hours ago saying classes to continue as scheduled. Delayed release possible due to severe threat Thursday. But I've seen nothing about canceling, but the release could get changed. Got your sleeves up yet? Indeed I do. It is a sleeves up night and morning tomorrow. 'Tis the season for severe weather, and we're kicking it off in big style with this the level of severe threat out there, level 4 and 5. Level 4 for us tomorrow, but 5 out in Alabama. How bad should we expect tomorrow's weather to be? Christina, I think it's primarily going to be gusty winds all the way up and down that line. I don't think there's going to be any shortage of that. But it's just inside that line, could you have a couple of cells that maybe spin up a little bit? So let me take you back to it again as we're looking at this storm, but let's plan ahead because tomorrow morning is important. So I'll take you all the way to about right here, 6 to 7 in the morning. I think everybody gets in on the gusty wind thing. I think this whole line is going to be charged up. Possibly it could be one of those situations where you'll see these, I'm not saying for sure because I don't know how it's going to play out, but sometimes you'll see just these giant severe thunderstorm warnings like this that just take up a whole lot of real estate because there's no sense in just issuing so many little ones. Maybe it's like that, I don't know. But then inside all of this, and this is not the exact location of where these cells are going to be, but it shows you the nature of these cells. And sometimes even on these future view models, you can see them, with that kind of kidney bean shape, a little bit of a hook to them. It may be broken in spots, this line, which, you may get lucky and be in a spot where it's just rain and maybe a rumble of thunder, a little bit of breeze, but no big deal. But as the National Weather Service has been saying, pretty much all modes are possible. That would be, sometimes you'll say, well, this is primarily just a gusty wind event, or this is just, some wind and hail and heavy rain. All things are possible with this. We could have some flash flooding. We could have some hail, damaging straight line winds, and also tornadic weather. Doesn't mean there's going to be tornadoes all up and down that line. It just means we could have a couple of warnings as we go through the morning. Or maybe we have none. We'll see. Definitely looks a lot worse out in Alabama. You can watch some of these cells. So the ingredients are there, the dynamics are there for severe weather. We'll just have to see how much of it comes together. All right, back to the radar shot. Let's check on the velocity again and see if anything has changed with that. Kind of leaving Houston County, heading more into Twiggs County now, and it looks like it has weakened down a pretty good bit. And I'm not finding anything with velocity, any signature or anything saying tornado. So this thing probably will be let go here in the next minute when it expires. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be. Let's see. Yeah, so it's going over the river now and underneath Jeffersonville, somewhere between there and Danville is probably where this will end up if it holds together. It's kind of stretching out now. Chat room, nothing doing right now. And since we only have 30 seconds left on this warning, as we go through tonight, this is kind of how it's going to be. I may jump on and do some Facebook Lives. We were originally scheduled to do one at 9 o'clock. This is kind of served as that one. If we need to come back on again in a little while, we will. If we go full-blown tornado warning or something like that, then we're going to go TV, obviously, with that. But you'll still be able to find us on all these platforms as well. So as we go through tonight and heading into tomorrow morning, the big thing, as you know, is to make sure you're prepared. The biggest thing is charging all of your devices, making sure your phone and iPad and all that stuff are charged up. Because if you lose everything else and the power and everything, at least you can still see us and see what's going on. And that's been huge over the years with technology. If you don't have the app, it's in the App Store or Google Play. All you have to do is just point your camera at that QR code right there, and it'll take you straight there. Once you get it, turn on the notifications for any watches or warnings, and make sure that you are able to have warnings tonight. By that, I mean don't just rely on a tornado siren somewhere. Not everybody has those, or you may not be where you can hear them very well. There are way too many ways with that phone in your hand to get warnings to not have something. I mean, even redundant backups are a good idea there just to make sure you can hear it. And we may not see anything until tomorrow morning, which would be best case scenario once this storm right here is gone. But once we get into tomorrow morning, there may be some warnings as we go. But hopefully it'll wait until morning so we're not up all night. We'll take care of that part. You can go to sleep if everything's fine. But we'll check back in the 10 o'clock show on our CW channel and the 11 o'clock show, obviously, on 13 WMAZ. But if we need to come back on for any reason, you can find us right here. And if we have to jump on TV, we'll do that too. So fingers crossed for a good outcome, and we'll see you.